Second Down on ESPN Radio is presented to you by the Uniform Source. Christian Gokel alongside PJ Zuko and Cam Urshry. Glad to have y'all hanging out on this Friday afternoon. Can you feel the electricity in the air?
Woo.
We have
Let's go.
High school football happening all over the state tonight as some teams actually kick off their regular season. Majority of teams are still playing that final tune-up scrimmage. I mean, we got a big one down here in coastal Georgia going on between Brunswick High, who was the region champs in 6A last year, and then you have Ware County coming to town, who made it to the quarterfinals in 5A last year. So you have Thomas Castellanos and those Ware County Gators coming to Brunswick tonight to take on the Pirates up in Savannah. You got Toombs County and Benedictine going on tonight. So, I mean, we have all kinds of football happening around the area. It's just walked outside this morning, and it's still hot. Like, it's not that October, like kind of a little bit of chill in the air.
You're not getting away from that.
Yeah. But it's the electricity of knowing that there's actual real football happening tonight. And then we also have kind of real football happening tonight. You have the Falcons playing a preseason game against Tennessee Titans. First look at Kyle Pitts. And, I mean, hey, listen, I know we're all excited to see Felipe Franks get out there and sling the rock around a little bit for the Atlanta Falcons. So,
of course, we've all been counting down the days for that.
I'm excited to see Felipe get out there and sling it around. I mean, he's got a cannon for an arm. So just football is in the air, I guess is the best way to put it. So really excited to come in here on this Friday afternoon. And again, this time next week, we will be in full-fledged, like even before this time next week, 24 hours prior to this next week, because you'll be all in high school first look.
For sure.
So, I mean, we'll have that on Thursday, and then going into Friday, we will be all over it covering Southeast Georgia high school football. So, man, this is the thing. Cam, get ready.
You got to, man.
I think you think you're ready.
Yeah.
But it's about to get wild. This is the speeding bullet.
Okay, so, I mean, when am I supposed to be not ready?
Well, I mean, I think you think you're ready.
I'm supposed to think that way.
But you're gonna it's gonna be one of those deer in the headlights things.
Oh yeah, it's ups and downs with everything, but you got to be confident.
The first week for that, I mean, you can prepare as much as humanly possible, like as much as you think you can, and still just once that first, it's not even Friday night, right? It's like Friday, but leading up to that, Wednesday, Thursday, that's when it really starts to amp up.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, you're gonna see, like, if you think you've seen me stressed before, you wait till it's what is it?
PJ Zuko is trying to get high school coaches on the line.
Yeah, Thursday,
like 8 of them.
Yeah, Thursday afternoon, still trying to track people down and everything, get ready for high school first look, and then Friday. But man, it as crazy as it can be, it's just as fun, and that's why we count down to it every year, and why we have this feeling every year of just walking around, knowing the mood has changed a little bit and the vibe's a little bit different with high school football. I mean, you had some scrimmages last night. But believe we had Calvary Day and New Hampstead in Pooler there as well. So yeah, you can prepare yourself as much as possible, but once you get into it, you'll really, really feel how it goes. But it's electric, man. It's electric. As stressful as it can be, it's that much fun as well.
And I mentioned the Thomas Castellanos kid out of Ware County, the quarterback there going into his senior season, currently committed to UCF, but the AJC released their Super 11 yesterday, which I don't think. And I'm not trying to take anything away from any other awards or recognition. Like, All-State is a huge deal. Like, being All-State, that's a massive deal. I don't know that there's a bigger honor or recognition for a high school football player in the state of Georgia than being in the AJC Super 11.
Yeah.
I mean, because we talked about this before. Per capita, the state of Georgia puts more players in the pros than any other state. And so each year, for those of you who don't know, the AJC picks the 11, what they believe to be the best players, the best representation of the state of Georgia. They pick those 11 guys to be their Super 11. I think Ben was Super 11.
Right. We'll have to double check that, yeah.
I'm almost 98% sure Ben Troop was Super 11. But Thomas Castellanos from Ware County was selected in there, but one of the things that surprised me, he's the first Ware County Gator to be Super 11 since Fred Gibson.
Wow.
In 2000.
Yeah.
Which is wild to me because, I mean, you have guys just in very recent past, like Dedrick Mills, who had 1,200 yards. I mean, talk to high school football coaches around here when they played Ware County back from 2013 to 2016. He's the first guy they say.
Absolutely.
And they had a ton of players on there, but they were like, that dude was nasty because he played running back and middle linebacker.
Yeah, couldn't slow him down either side of the ball.
Yeah, and his senior year, he had 1,200 yards on the ground, bunch of touchdowns, and he had 90 tackles and 11 tackles for loss on the other side. Nasty.
Yeah.
Then he went to Georgia Tech and then transferred to Nebraska. Now he's in camp with the Detroit Lions. But you also have got Leotis McKelvin, who's a first-round pick in 2008. Ernest Jones was at Ware County and that was at South Carolina, and he was a third-round pick and is with the Rams now. So that was just wild to me that he's the first Gator or Ware County Gator in 21 years to make it on the Super 11. But still, pretty cool honor. And then it just kind of adds, because we keep pointing to these huge games we have coming up this season, Benedictine and Ware County, where Ware County won the first game in 2020 when BC went out to Ware. Now Ware has to come to Savannah to take on BC, and you'll have a battle of Holden Garner, who's committed to Auburn to play quarterback, and now Super 11 committed to UCF, Thomas Castellanos coming to town. So that's just going to be a huge football game. So I'm just excited, but we're so close. 7 days away.
Yep, counting down to it, man. It's an exciting time, no doubt about it. And like you said, that matchup is going to be so fun once we get to it with those two quarterbacks. But yeah, a little surprising there with Ware County.
Yeah, I mean that was nuts to me. But I mean, also a ton of quarterbacks on the list. The kid out of Lowndes makes the list, and so there's actually a lot of South Georgia players. One of the stats they put in there was the Atlanta Journal-Constitution Super 11, and everybody's trying to get to Atlanta for the state championships. They didn't have a Super 11 player from within 30 miles of the city of Atlanta.
Wow.
And I think half of them were from south of Macon.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a big year in South Georgia football, because I mean there's some schools like BC and like Ware County who are some of the favorites to win their divisions. I mean Camden County all of a sudden, or their regions, Camden County all of a sudden they were ranked number 9 in the GPB top 10 for 7A.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
it's up there, man.
That's pretty lofty.
Yeah, exactly. Big expectations, but I think that's something we've seen, especially over the past 5 or 6 years, and it's really coming to fruition right now. Is like we say it all the time, and we've said it for a long time. Feel like the best brand of high school football and some of the best high school football you're going to see is in Southeast Georgia, in Georgia specifically as a whole, of course. But like you said, once you get down past Macon and start getting over the east of Valdosta too. I mean, just wild, great programs. And I think we've seen them get stronger and stronger over the past 6 or 7 years, bring in some great coaches, some great leaders, and some great developers as well that we've seen. And I think that speaks to it, man. Like you said, that 11 with not any of them being within 30 miles of Atlanta. For a while there, we kind of saw a bit of an Atlanta takeover, right? Atlanta high school football was incredible. I think we're starting to see a little bit more of a swing back to Southeast Georgia coming dominant high school football, back to how it used to be a little bit,
Well, whenever I was coming up playing high school football, they kind of spoke with reverence and kind of a mystique about the South Georgia football teams, because that was Camden County's heyday. Camden County comes up to the Georgia Dome, beats the hell out of whoever they're going to have to play against. And you're like, yeah, well, that's South Georgia football. Our coaches used to tell us all they have to do down there is work out and play football. So there was this whole mystique growing up in Atlanta that South Georgia was didn't have power, didn't have running water. It was just a bunch of dudes bench pressing in a cornfield and going to play football. Obviously not the case, but it is different, man. I mean, just think about the kids in our area from Savannah stretching it down the coast and over to Waycross. You literally practice in a swamp.
Yeah.
Right now, it's pretty much mid 90s every single day and 88 to 90% humidity.
There's no other way to put it. That's just how it is. You're either practicing in a swamp or some farmland. I mean, it's pretty much it. And to me, those are the kind of guys you want in your football team.
Yeah, and just quickly going through some of those quarterbacks there. Ja'Curry Brown from Lowndes is one of the Super 11. Thomas Castellanos, as we mentioned, from Ware County, makes it Super 11. Jake Johnson, another quarterback, he's a tight end from Oconee County, makes it. Sam Horn, the quarterback from Collins Hill. Travis Hunter from Collins Hill as well makes the Super 11. That's up in that's Kevin Thomas area up
Mhm.
in Gwinnett County. Amari Morrison from River Ridge, Elijah Pritchett from Carver Columbus, Malachi Starks from Jefferson. Savannah football fan, Benedictine football fans will remember Malachi Starks. We're number 24 and played quarterback for Jefferson last year in the semifinals.
Just
Yeah,
unstoppable, man.
pretty much. And then
Yeah.
Georgia commit Gunnar Stockton, the quarterback out of Rabun County, is a member of the Super 11 as well. Tyree West, a big defensive lineman out of Tift County. Then Mikkel Williams, a linebacker out of Hardaway, are your AJC Super 11. So a lot of middle Georgia, South Georgia. And then, I mean, Gunnar Stockton is basically in Tennessee,
Yeah.
in Rabun
Sure.
County. Or I guess maybe closer to the Carolinas than Atlanta. But, I mean,
They're up there. Yeah.
it's a hell of a football state, man.
Yeah.
That's why I love talking to John Nelson about it, because it's just all over.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, John Nelson, man, he'll know every name from every single
it's
team.
ridiculous.
But no, it's crazy. You have great states with high school football like that repeatedly produce the best talent for college football. And to me, there's no doubt that Georgia, if it's not like top 3, it's got to be the best in putting out. Especially you just look at, again, the last 6 or 7 years, it was kind of fringe. Like it was right there in the top 5 and the top 3. But I think just with the talent that Georgia has developed in the past 5 or 6 years,
and we've
it's
talked
been
about
incredible.
We've talked about all these teams. We haven't mentioned Pierce County, who's defending a state championship.
Yeah.
Coming back. So I mean, it's loaded up in South Georgia. It's gonna be a really fun year. Just completely off topic from what I wanted to talk about. So we're gonna take a break and we come back. Interesting story out of BYU in terms of name, image, and likeness, and something that I think could have a pretty big impact in the way we see recruiting happening, in the way we see roster management happening in college football coming up in the near future. And honestly, some states that thought they were getting ahead at the beginning of NIL maybe put their schools at a disadvantage. So we'll talk about all that when we come back right here on Second Down. All right. Well, this reminds me. You're getting me off subject again, Cam. This now just reminds me of last night. Did y'all watch the Field of Dreams game?
No.
I didn't see it. I
Come
saw some
on.
highlights and stuff. It looked remarkable. I didn't see all of it.
All right. Have y'all ever seen Field of Dreams?
No.
Do you love your dad?
Yes, a lot.
Then you
Yeah.
need to watch Field of Dreams.
That's why we watched like The Rookie and Angels in the Outfield.
No, you need to watch Field of Dreams.
And
It's a lot I haven't watched. Watch.
other
Yeah,
Yeah,
movies.
we need to get a whiteboard back here. Because I am that guy. Like, I know this is not a good guy to be, but I am that guy that's just, oh, you haven't seen that?
What's
like,
funny is I think
all
I've
the
seen
time.
like every other baseball movie except for Field
Listen,
of
it's
Dreams.
it's emotional, man. It
Yeah.
is definitely a father-son movie. But I'm gonna get a whiteboard back here of movies that you need to see, and we're just gonna keep track, and we'll cross them off as you watch them.
It's a lot.
But man, just when you have, like, it's one of the cooler scenes in sports movie history when you have the ghost of the Yankees and White Sox players walking out of the corn after he builds the field.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks he's psychotic.
Right.
Kevin Costner, by the way.
Yeah. I saw that
Yeah.
yesterday. That
Yeah.
was
When
pretty
you
awesome.
have Kevin Costner walk out of the corn,
Yeah.
and then the way the players walked out, like the ghost walked out, that was goosebumps. And then if you haven't watched the video yet, Cam, you need to pull it up on your computer, on your phone, and watch it. You can go to MLB, ESPN, anything. Tim Anderson hitting that walk-off home run
Yeah.
into the corn, and the fireworks going off.
Yeah.
And oh, dude, just goosebumps everywhere.
Right. It was remarkable. And that's the thing. Like I've seen certain pieces and certain scenes from the movie. I guess just have never seen the whole thing.
What's the if you build
even
it, they
for
will
someone-
come.
Yeah. Even for someone who hasn't seen the whole thing or had that memory growing up or whatever, I still was like, oh man.
Cam,
Like,
is your
you still
father
got those
watching this
goosebumps.
right now?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. I'm pretty sure he is. Definitely.
You should not let Cam come home until he says he's going to watch the Field of Dreams.
I'm
with
coming
you.
home tonight.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah. Go
I
home this
am.
weekend.
Good.
Go
I'm
home this
coming
weekend,
home.
watch Field of Dreams. That's it.
No.
Oh, yeah,
He said
yeah.
no.
Hey, Cam's watching the
He's
Tim
straight up.
Anderson home run right now. That's nuts.
It's pretty cool.
The fireworks going off, and again, it's the first professional or Major League Baseball game played in Iowa, and so
Yeah.
everything was a first. It was the 1st
Mhm.
walk-off home run in the history of Iowa. So I mean,
Yeah.
really, really cool stuff.
Couldn't have
last
scripted
night
it
for
like
Clippers.
any better.
Okay, what sports movies do like hit y'all right in the feels? Like,
Oh man.
I'm gonna say tears. Like, which sports movies have made you cry?
None of them.
You don't have a
Not an
heart.
emotional human being, so none of them.
I don't know if that's true. Come on. Have you? Has any movie ever made you cry?
Not really. I mean, a movie that's gotten me upset is like Avengers Endgame when Iron Man dies. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah,
That's
that's
fair.
rough,
yeah,
man.
that
That's
was
fair.
pretty
You
rough.
didn't
That's
get a little
rough.
choked up when Falcon hits him with the on your six.
Yeah, a
Had
little
to.
bit when they all came in. Yeah,
Yeah,
with Doctor
got a
Strange
little misty?
powers. Yeah,
you got a little misty.
I was like, it's good.
I
It's
don't
good
know.
for y'all to be back.
I don't know if it's just me. I might be a little too emotional, but like those moments got me a little bit. But I think the biggest thing is when Pepper looks at him and looks at Iron Man and is like, it's okay. Like we're all right.
All right, look,
You
this
can
is
rest.
this is
We're all right.
This
That's
is this
that's
is not
what
going to
got
become
me,
an
man.
Avengers segment. We're talking about sports movies.
Okay, well, I'll say like these might be insanely generic for a lot of people, but it is what it is. That like, and if we had been here today, he would automatically come in here and start making fun of me. But the Boobie Miles scene is incredible to me and gets me every time.
That one's tough. It hasn't made me.
It did the first time I
cry,
saw
though.
it. Like that's the thing.
When you were like 8.
Well, I didn't see it immediately, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I play, you play
No, I
sports
mean,
and everything. It's like, oh,
The
man.
end when Tim McGraw puts the ring on his son's finger on the
Yeah.
field, and you have the sad guitar music playing in the background that Kevin loves to play.
Right.
That'll get you.
That's rough. That's rough.
And then when old Coach Gary Gaines is like pulling the nameplates off the whiteboard and dropping them into the bucket.
Yeah.
That hits you right in the heart.
I'll say, and I've talked about this a lot with you. There's a TV series out right now that has got me a few times. and it's only on Apple TV, but it's Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ted
And-
Lasso pulls at the heartstrings.
There's a lot of stuff off the field
Yeah.
that'll get you in
Off
that
the
show,
pitch.
but
Off the pitch.
off the pitch. There's a lot of stuff off the show, off the pitch that will get you in that. But there's a scene where, like, at the end of the season, at the end of the first season, where, you know, there's a soccer player that has been doing all
Footballer.
these amazing things.
Footballer.
Yeah, okay, man. Been
You are
doing all
Ted
these
Lasso.
amazing things and, like, the staple of the team and all that, and he gets injured in, like, the last game, and you see him, like, if of course it doesn't happen like this in the real
Oh, is
game,
this
but
a
like
spoiler alert?
a little bit, yeah. Yeah, you should probably
Spoiler alert. It's okay.
a little bit of one. But like he walks off, goes to the locker room, and like he knows that that's it. Like
Yeah.
that's gonna be it. And like again, another thing that wouldn't happen, I don't think. But like a significant other comes down in the locker room and he's like, no, get away from me. But he's like defensive at first,
Yeah.
but then like lets her in because like that's it, man. I think everyone as an athlete before has kind of had that moment, whether you're hurt or not, of like
PJ likes these relationship moments.
Yeah, man,
Is what I'm
sure.
getting.
for sure.
I don't
But
know.
like no. You have that moment of like you're done. That's it.
The
And it just
scene,
kind of hits you.
the scene in Miracle where they're playing the game against the Russians and it transitions from the movie to the Al Michaels call.
Yeah,
That's misty eyed
for
like
sure.
every single time.
Understandable.
And I'm trying to think, there's been a few. I mean, The Natural, if you haven't seen The Natural,
I think I saw it,
Robert
like, once.
Redford.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one will get you every time too. So I mean, there's sports movies right in the heart. I mean, it's the whole point of them, though, right? It's like
Yeah.
the underdog story. I mean, it's supposed to get you, but Rudy, come on.
Rudy's great.
If you don't get choked up twice in that movie, number one, when all the starters come in and lay their jerseys down,
Yeah.
and number two, when you see his dad in the stands watching that,
Yeah.
that'll.
I agree with you there. I think I get more like it's kind of just the way the scenes that we're describing. I get more like amped in those moments, like just like pumped up and ready to go. With the other, I guess for moments of me,
Yeah.
it's like the bad things that happen are the ones that are like, oh man,
Oh, Coach,
those are
Coach,
the ones that get
Coach
me,
Gene
like-
Clemens right now with a good one, and this is another movie that has multiple moments in it. Remember the Titans?
yeah,
Gary Bertier in the hospital
course.
when he says, "Are you blind, Alice?"
that's my family right there.
That's my brother.
You guys watch a lot of sports movies, man.
Cam, you don't?
Nah,
Have you seen Remember the Titans?
That was a long time ago,
Oh man,
so I don't remember it.
to me that's
you gotta
that's
watch
my,
it like once a year.
that's my favorite one. Well,
Yeah.
I love Remember the Titans, man.
My parents are watching. They know I love watching sports, like talking sports, but I am a nerd. Anime,
That's
action,
fine.
stuff like that. That's all I watch. Literally, that's the only thing I watch.
Oh, again, we're gonna put the board up. We have Field of Dreams is up there. Have you seen Rudy?
No, I haven't seen none of that.
You haven't seen Remember the Titans.
I've seen
You
it,
need,
a
but
long
you need a
time ago.
refresher.
Yeah, I
you need
need
a refresher. All right,
on
we're gonna
that.
put that one up there as well.
We got to jot this down too, because like we're not gonna have.
Have
time.
you watched Friday Night Live? This is a very important question.
Ooh,
No,
man,
I don't. I told you guys.
TJ, we have to do
just like not even
we
once.
have to do better background
No.
checks.
Heck no.
We really do.
Yeah, y'all
But I
should
mean,
have did your background.
Like we
check
don't
on
do
me.
criminal background checks. We're just like, what movies have you seen? Go.
Yeah, I hate that this. I hate that this is happening now. I wish this happened with us in like May, because we don't have time to like educate you with
Catch me up.
this kind of stuff. Yeah, to catch
The
you
hell
up on
we
this kind of
don't.
stuff. Like, dude, look, we got to write it down.
I'm just
and
gonna run the board during the shows every day now and just have a movie that Cam has to watch.
It's like back in class.
Yeah.
Nah.
And I'm gonna check in on certain moments, see if he's crying or not, to see if we're on the same
Oh, I
wavelength.
won't
Yeah.
cry though. I can guarantee.
You gotta
that.
let yourself into the feels, man.
Nah. Give me some Dragon Ball Z and anime and
Nah, man. He
Harry
only
Potter.
he only
Those are my
does that-
movies.
Harry Potter's good. He only does that when he's driving in his car alone. I mean, without the radio.
That's
on.
true. For those of you who weren't listening, apparently Cam drives everywhere with no music on or no
Basically, yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, basically no music. I'll put on some podcasts every now and then, some sports stuff, but it's time to think alone. You know, just think about life, how you get, ideas and getting better.
You know what? I forgot to tell you this. On the
Mhm.
way back from Pennsylvania, there was about an hour where like I was driving with my parents, and like my parents fell asleep. I was just riding.
Mhm.
I thought about it. And I was like, I paused the music and just kind of chilled for a little bit.
Yeah.
My dad legit woke up and like 5 minutes after waking up, and he's like, "What are you doing? Like, what? Can we put something on?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just
The
thinking, man.
vibes.
I'm just yeah.
The vibe.
Oh, no,
So
that's
like,
like-
I did
I will
do
say
that.
this,
Like
long
I
road
can't do
trips-
that for a
long road
time.
trips, and you just start doing like I call it the shower thinking,
Mhm.
like where you get that really good thought
Oh,
process going
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And so like, you
Yeah.
can turn the music off if you're just really thinking about something. Time flies while you're doing that. I'm with that. But just like literally everywhere,
Yeah, pretty much everywhere. People complain.
like on an hour-long stretch on 95, I'll probably go from like music to podcast, back to music, and then to like FM radio.
I can't do music because I know like songs are just 3-4 minutes. So some songs, like if you like it, you're gonna make it seem like it's long.
Yeah.
And it just makes the drive longer.
That's fair.
Yeah. I'll listen
Complete
to a
opposite
podcast.
effect for me. I don't know.
All right. So anyway, everybody here needs to watch Field of Dreams and cry with their dads. Moral of the story. We got more to come here on Second Down, though. We'll actually talk about the NIL BYU news when I come back. I will not get distracted by a song again and go on a complete tangent.
We'll see what we can do during the break. We'll
I
see about
promise.
that. Yeah.
I promise. We'll be right back after this. Now you guys. So anyway, back to my favorite purple I'm just kidding. I'm not going to get distracted by a song again.
Do you have a favorite purple uniform? Is that where you're going to go?
Yeah, the
Stop it.
Lakers.
Stop it.
The
Stop
Lakers.
it. Stop it. We're not getting distracted by purple uniform discussion here
Lakers.
when we all know that Mount Union has the best purple uniforms.
Pulling out the Mount Union. Did you know
Yeah.
about the family connection of Mount Union?
I had no idea.
From Zuko?
but- No, I didn't.
From
But
the Zuko family?
no, they have the purple and black though.
They do.
look clean.
Yeah, the Raiders, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's some great stuff. Now I don't know if I should share or not because
Very
like, we
quickly,
got to
go.
get it. So my dad, back when he played for State College High School, was a cornerback and had an offer from Mount Union to go
Oh.
out there and play some football. In a very interesting family dynamic, the scholarship offer never got to him, and instead went into the Navy. So
Interesting.
we'll
Oh,
keep
yeah.
that close to the vest. But
We all know that Mount Union does it the best and Northwestern does it the worst because what the hell are the
Oh,
stripes
absolutely.
across the chest all about? No
No.
one knows. TCU does it pretty good too. But that being said, the Lakers, no. God, no. Cam, come on.
17 championships.
That's like their fourth best uniform.
No.
Yes.
It's
But
the
we're not
second.
we're not getting distracted by this. I said I had some NIL news to talk about with BYU. I typically don't do article reading on the show because number one, I went to Derek Zoolander School for kids who can't read really good. But
School for ants.
yeah. But it's just typically I try to read the article and then summarize on the show what the article is about. But I do think these first three paragraphs are really interesting. This is from our good friend Dan Murphy from ESPN.com. The BYU athletic department helped broker opportunities for every walk-on member of the football team to sign endorsement deals with a sponsor that would cover the cost of their tuition for at least 1 year. The arrangement, which is possible due to recent NCAA rule changes that allow college athletes to make money from their name, images, and likenesses, or NIL, was announced during a team meeting this week. All 123 members of the Cougars football program were offered an endorsement deal with protein bar company Built Brands. Scholarship players can receive $1,000 each for representing the company. The 36 walk-on players on the roster were offered what amounts to privately funded scholarships, although the players will be paid directly and can spend that money in any way they choose, according to Associate Athletic Director Gary Veron. So, summary, this company, Built Brand Protein Company, is partnering with BYU, offering every single one of their players $1,000 if they will represent the company. So I guess like on Instagram flexing, saying, hey, this bicep was built by Built Brand or whatever the agreement was.
Mm-hmm.
That's a conversation I do want to have, because that is, I think, where some of these schools or some of these states that thought they were getting out ahead of the curve actually ended up hurting their schools. So I do want to talk about that. But the second part of that, where he said they're offering all 36 walk-on players what amounts to a paid scholarship to the school. It's not an athletic scholarship, so it doesn't count against BYU's allotted scholarships. Was it 83 or 85, something around there?
85, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It doesn't count against that. There's still walk-ons, but now BYU has partnered with this company that will pay each year for all 36 of them. They will give them the equivalent of tuition to go to school.
Yeah.
Now, does that equal dormitory and like what are some of the fees you used to have at Savannah State, Cam? Like, I'm not saying Savannah State's the only college that does this, but they do like the walking on the sidewalk fee, the rec fee, the you're breathing our air fee. Like they'll hit
Parking.
you. Yeah. They hit you with every fee they can think of. I don't know if it covers all that. It says tuition, so it might just be tuition. But if you stretch that to, okay, I'm a kid, you just gave me all of this money, plus I can go out there and get the Pell Grant, I can get all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And spend that on my tuition. You just took BYU's scholarship allotment from 85 to, trying to do quick math, 121.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insane.
And so think about that, but instead of BYU, it's Alabama.
Right.
Where, hey, man, I don't have a scholarship to offer you right now,
Yeah.
but I don't want you to go to South Carolina. And you can play in 2 years probably, but I don't want you to count against my scholarships right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have this company, and I don't think Alabama can do this right now because of their state laws, which is what we're going to get to. But I have this company that's with us every single year. You don't have to facilitate anything, and from what I've read, you don't really have to do anything.
Just free money.
Except drink this protein shake.
Right.
Is you won't be on scholarship as our 8th defensive lineman, but you're still going to get your tuition paid for.
Right.
And I know there's athletic or academic scholarships that a lot of walk-ons use and stuff like that, but this is beyond that. This is an outside company paying for you to go to school. Think about how creative the Nick Sabans and the Lincoln Rileys and the Kirby Smarts can be with their scholarship allotment, and saying all of a sudden, dang, man, Darion Kendrick's out there. I want him to transfer from Clemson to my school, but I don't know if I have a scholarship available. Hey, 85th best guy on scholarship.
Yep.
How do you feel about moving to where you'll get a lump sum of cash and you'll be a walk-on and giving up your scholarship?
Yeah. So we can get this guy over here.
I'm recruiting you. I know you have offers from Tulane and Northwestern and schools where you could probably go play, but I'm the university of this state.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to play right away, but you can be a walk-on and it will pay for your tuition.
Yeah.
So I know you're thinking about going to one of those smaller schools, but you can go to this big school, have your tuition paid for. Hey, in 2-3 years down the line, you could be a guy who plays.
Have a chance to go to the league.
And how many times do we see that already, even without that guarantee, right? Of
Baker Mayfield
having everything paid for. Hey, just we know you're not going to play as a freshman, but come here, and by the time you're a junior and a senior, you could be on the field and you could be an NFL product as well.
That's a good point from Cam. Even though like most conferences have done away with this, the like forcing a kid to sit out a year if you transfer intra-conference.
Yeah.
But even if that was the case, bringing Baker Mayfield in and they say like, oh, well, they're blocking his scholarship. We don't need a scholarship.
Yep.
No.
This protein brand's this protein brand's gonna give him money to go to school.
Right.
Imagine Baker Mayfield with what's going on right now when he was a walk-on.
Right.
Insane.
Now, I know there's a lot of people in the cars right now saying, how is this not against the rules? It is against the rules in certain states.
Yeah.
This is why the NCAA wanted Congress to come with a sweeping, overarching rule about name, image, and likeness. But Congress hasn't, and they probably won't for at least 2 or 3 years because nothing's going to go quickly through that organization. If you want to see just ineptitude and speed, it's not the NCAA, it's Congress.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing's going to come quickly out of that. So now the NCAA looked at all of the schools where July 1st you had Georgia and Florida and a bunch of different states that said, hey, July 1st, according to our laws, we're going to allow players to start profiting off of name, image, and likeness. And so on July 1st, NCAA basically announced we're not going to put any restrictions on anyone anywhere. So if you're a school in the NCAA anywhere in the United States of America, you guys set the rules. Like each state and not even each state, each school in the states without laws sets the rules. You set your own rules.
Yeah.
And so when you hear the restrictions like, wait, hold on, I didn't think a company that was partnered with the school could pay players for name, image, and likeness because that's basically like paying the players.
Yeah.
In a state that didn't have any laws, whose rules is it against?
It's Wild Wild West, man.
Yeah. Whose rules are whose rules is that against?
Yeah. And who's going to enforce it? Absolutely no one. Yeah.
States like Georgia that came through and said, hey, we see this as a recruiting advantage. We're going to be one of the first states to come through, like Florida just did, and pass a name, image, and likeness law that allows our players, even against the NCAA, because if the NCAA blocks it, it would be breaking our state laws. We're going to pass a law that allows the players to do this, but we're going to restrict boosters from paying players.
Yeah.
We're going to restrict people who donate a certain amount of money from paying players at that university. Now, all of a sudden, you being the state that thought you were helping out your universities, all of a sudden you've handcuffed your universities.
Yeah. Because you're trying to be proactive and get out in front of it and be like, all right, now hopefully the other 49 states do the same thing. No, it's not how it works.
Nope. and so a lot of these states, again, like Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, they have laws in place already that they're going to have to follow. And it's not just the paying the players, it's the allowing players to use the school's logos and names.
Yeah.
That comes down to outside of this per school, like different schools, like are you going to allow your players to use your copyright material? North Carolina just signed a deal with their players, allowing them to use North Carolina logos, the name of the school, all of it.
Yeah.
And their name, image, and likeness deals. Because that doesn't come down to recruiting or paying players or anything. That comes down to copyright laws. Because North Carolina owns the trademark for all of that stuff. And so if North Carolina, the University of North Carolina says you can use the Tar Heel logos, you can use the Tar Heel name, you can use the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and all of your stuff, all of a sudden players who were going out there and it's like, I know Sam Howell, you're the quarterback at North Carolina, but you're in like just kind of plain white helmet and like the generic white uniform. He can now be wearing a North Carolina uniform.
That's huge.
That's a huge advantage inside the name, image, and likeness.
Yeah.
Like, so it's,
wow.
I think it's fascinating because you open this up and now all of a sudden all the stuff we were talking about, which was when we were breaking this down prior to July, it was here are the rules as set forth by the NCAA. And here are the rules that will be set forth now by the state of Georgia. And here's what they're going to have to abide by, which is if a Georgia football player or athlete signs an name, image, and likeness deal, it can't have anything to do with the school, and the school can't push it, and the school can't vote it. I'm not going to say which. We had a player on the show, and I'm not going to say from which school we had him on, but speaking with a representative from the university, they said, because we set this interview up, you can't ask him about name, image, and likeness because it would look like we were facilitating a branding opportunity for him.
Yeah. Oof. There's a lot that goes
BYU's out here saying, hey, we got
it.
corporate sponsors coming in. You're going to pay your scholarships.
We're doing everything, man.
And you come to BYU, you at least are making $1,000.
Right. Very least.
We're not paying it. This company's paying it, so we're not paying players. But if you come to BYU, you get $1,000 guaranteed.
Yep.
Whereas Sports Illustrated and Ross Dellinger just put out a report from a company that facilitates these name, image, and likeness deals. The middle of the deals that FBS players, so Division I FBS, the 130 quote unquote biggest college football brands in America, the median earnings per month for players was $35. So that's not the average, that's the middle.
Yeah.
$35. You had some players that were pulling $200,000 a month.
Yeah.
And you have players facilitating it down from there.
Right.
But right there in the middle, for the most part, roughly $35 a month.
Yeah. Wild. And then now you have BYU coming in saying, hey,
guaranteed $1,000.
Yeah.
All you have to do is drink this protein. And,
Right.
and it's like if you're a college student, you're going to drink the protein that your school facilitates you anyway.
Yeah, who cares? Yeah. Exactly. You're not even thinking about
Like
that.
I know Alabama for a long time had to deal with, they might still have it with muscle milk, like where like that was their protein, and like they had like that was the nutrition they used.
Yep.
This is going to get wild, man. And now I will say this, and I was talking to BJ about this. Depth chart availability and basically the fact that there's only 22 starters.
Yeah.
And I'll say roughly on offense, you'll have 20 some odd guys play on offense, and defense maybe a little bit more than that. So say on a given Saturday, you have about 50 guys who legitimately are going to contribute playing time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that might be
making big differences.
That's probably on the high end.
Right.
But around 50 guys for a good college football team that has depth are going to be making a difference on Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to see schools sign 150 guys where it's like, hey, we have 150 guys and half of them are having their tuitions paid for by this brand.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen because kids still want to play.
Yeah.
Right.
But it does, in the states where they don't have the restrictive laws, it does afford you that opportunity to at least offer that and say, we couldn't recruit you before because we don't have a scholarship, but here's the thing. We have this for you. And I think more so than just SEC to SEC or Pac-12 to Pac-12 or Big 10 to Big 12, like those recruiting battles, I think all of a sudden I'm the small school and this school's offering you a walk-on spot or a gray shirt, or I'm the small school and I can offer you a scholarship right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of a sudden you're losing that battle because they're saying you can come here, but not on a scholarship, but we'll still pay your tuition with this company.
It's
Right.
the same thing.
Don't have to worry about it at all.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's going to be a big difference, and that is kind of what I'm waiting for is the reaction now by other universities and other states that don't have these laws in place. Because you've mentioned it's a disadvantage for the ones.
If I'm
that,
Kirby Smart or Jeff Collins or Chad Lunsford, I'm calling Governor Kemp right now,
well, of
saying,
course,
"Hey, bro,
yeah, I'm getting ticked about that.
can
but
we
I'm
veto
saying,
this?"
Well, I mean, you know the ones that already that don't have the laws in place, the other states and the other big universities in said states are saying, holy cow, if BYU just did this, think about what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like I said, just wild west. Let's it's going to get crazy. Let's see what happens. But and as you said, probably not a end of this in immediate sight.
No.
With how long, if anything happens in Congress, maybe this forces that hand a little bit.
I don't think
it's going to take a little bit.
I'll say this quickly because I know we have to go to break.
Yeah.
I don't think anything does happen because these schools are still trying to show the air of or the aura of that, hey, we are institution first, we're university first, and these are still students, and so we can't be paying students. So I don't think anything overriding will happen. I think the schools probably want them to leave it like this so you can decide on a school by school basis.
Sure.
And then if the NCAA tries to come over the top again, they're just going to get slapped back with antitrust.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating, but BYU taking advantage of a situation that was afforded to them. So really, kudos to them. I think that's pretty awesome. If you're a BYU football player, you got $1,000 in the bank.
Oh, remarkable. First thing I said, I read that and I was like, man, that's amazing for these players. Look at that video. And then you start thinking about all that and you're like, holy cow, what's about to happen?
Yep. All right. We got more to come. We'll come back. Final segment of Second Down up next. Second Down on ESPN Radio is presented to you by The Uniform Source. Big show coming up today on 3 and Out. BJ Bennett, Ben Troop, and Kevin Thomas. We'll catch up with John Shipley from the Jaguar Report on SI.com. We'll get our first look at Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne coming up on Saturday. But tonight, Falcons and Titans. We'll catch up with Dave Archer, former Falcons quarterback and the color commentator for the Atlanta Falcons, coming up in the 5 o'clock hour as well. All that coming up next on 3 and Out. BJ Bennett, Ben Troop, and Kevin Thomas. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend.